Okay, I wanted to create a real quick video here, just kind of going over sections, the PL apps in section 3. There's some questions on the Blockly labs, specifically 3.2.2.4 and 3.2.6.5. So I wanted to make sure that we kind of went through those and made sure that we're in good shape there. Okay, so I've already logged into my Cisco NetAcad, and I have already gone into the material into chapter 3. I'm going to use the course index down here to kind of speed my way through this. So I'm going to go to chapter 3. Right, so in order to do chapter 3.2.4, you have got to successfully complete 3.2.3, which is the installation of the PL app, downloading the image, installing the image, and getting it up and running. If you do that, you should end up with, if you run your PL app, right, you should have something that looks like this, where you have available devices and you have your particular Raspberry Pi. So this is my Raspberry Pi here, and because I have a big green connect button, then this application can see my Raspberry Pi in the network. And how to get there is explained in section 3.2.2.3 in the lab that you do there. So I'm going to go ahead and click connect. That should fire off my PL app, Jupyter Notebook, in a web browser. So then I'm going to type in my password. And you can see I'm connected to my PL app. The Raspberry has been up for 34 minutes, and then I've got all my course materials here, and in particular, connecting things and tutorials. Those are going to be the two sections that we work on here shortly. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main folder there, so we kind of stay in the right place. All right. So on 3.2.4, using the PL app notebook. This is the lab. In this lab, you'll access PL Notebook, learn how to integrate. So if I click on the lab here, it's going to launch a PDF, and if I follow through the PDF, right, it's going to explain what we're doing, what's going on, how things work, and right, so we're going to connect to our Raspberry here. Here's the passwords, and then right, so this is the same. We've already done that step, right? We're already there, so we're already down to this point. Step 2, okay, this is the Blockly piece of it. Right? So in the PL app web interface, navigate course materials, tutorials and demos, Blockly folder, select real-time plot. Okay, so if I'm on my app, course materials, tutorials and demos, Blockly, real-time plot in Blockly. So, right, so it's given us a Blockly program, right? So this is the actual program, and in order to run this program, I'm simply going to hit the play button here next to the block, and down below I get my 10 different points, right? So I could come up here, right, and I could change these values. So let me change the value. Whoops, I'm going to leave the value there. I'm going to change the value here to say 200, and then maybe we'll leave that as 1. So then this is going to that top value. I'm going to create a 1 to 200, and the bottom one will be 1 to 100. So then if I rerun it, we should see. Right. So now I've got some values that are kind of up in the higher ranges, above 100. Right. So that's simply the entire lab as far as Blockly is concerned. If we go back into the lab, oops, right. That's how we're going to do that Blockly component. That's it right there. And then you're going to create your own notebooks. You're going to do some Python programming, just following through on the instructions, and you should be good to go. Right? So that's 3.2.4. And close that. I'm going to go ahead and close this. It's going to ask me to leave. See how it's green right here and it says running. I'm going to go ahead and shut that piece down by selecting it and hitting the shutdown. So then it's not running in the background. If I click here on running, you can see I have no notebooks and no terminals running at this time. Okay, so I'm still connected to my Raspberry. It's been up for 37 minutes, and I've got access to my folders here, my Jupyter notebooks. All right, The other lab that we were having questions on, course index 3.2.6.5. I'm going to click here. So I'm not even going to worry about, well, I'm going to actually click on this lab, right? It brings up a PDF, right? And actually, I'm going to set it off to the side. So I'm just going to pull this off of my screen. I'm onto a second screen, and I'll show you why in a minute. But right here, use the PL App Launcher to connect to your Raspberry Pi. So we've done that. So we're connected. And then the second thing is select the link in the course materials, then the link in connecting things, select 3.2.6.5. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click course materials. I'm going to click connecting things, and I'm going to click 3.2.6.5, and I'm going to click on the actual notebook here. Okay. So this has launched my notebook, which if I go back to the piece that I just dragged off the screen, you can kind of see that they're the exact same kind of thing. If I scroll this down and I scroll this down, I'm going to have the same materials. Okay. So I like to have the PDF on my second screen so I can follow along a little easier. However, all of the things are built into the notebook. So you have your markdown language components here, which just actually just explains what you're doing. And it shows you all the graphs. And then you're going to go into, here's an example, and then here's your actual bash. And this is going to actually identify the board, which and this is if you're in that's a Linux machine, I believe, right? So this is going to show, what you're connected to. You can also use the Firmata firmware, so you can run this block to connect to the device and flash the firmware and those kind of things. I have found that we don't really need that. Sometimes, well, not all the time, but so if you need it, right, we're going to want to push that down. Okay, and this is Blockly here, and if you click play, it should actually connect. I don't have the devices connected for this demonstration. But I wanted to, if you click here, this will actually run. Okay, and I really think the big thing for this lab is this step 3 as far as Blockly is concerned. So they want you to create a Blockly program using the visual programming cells, and this is the programming cells that they want you to use. Okay, they really don't kind of explain how you're supposed to do those, but they're going to have you walk through this process. So because I have this other one off to the side here, and I have that same set of code, right? So now I can have this on my other monitor. I'm going to slide down a little bit further, right down to here. And this is the program. This is where I would actually program. So I think, what does it want me to do? Like LED, I don't know why I think when I'm recording this, it's giving me issues, right? Because if I do this without recording, I don't have any issues. Then there may be maybe some commands on my screen. Like it doesn't like the L. So I'm just going to do, we're just going to do program. Doesn't like the R. There's a lot of characters that it doesn't like. I wonder if that's a recording thing, because when I'm not recording, I don't have this issue. So that may be what's going on there. Go back down to the, so on your normal screen, and it does it normally for me without any problems, I should be able to put in words here, right? And then the next line there says, put a comment in. So in that case, right, so program, I think code, then we're going to just drag a comment over and drop the comment in place. And then the next one is set mode to BMC, and that's a brown, and that looks like it's possibly pin access. No. Yeah, set pin access. Here's mode to BMC, so I'm going to grab that and drop it here. So this is where you have to kind of get used to how this works. So I'm going to drag comments, right? And you type in the comments that match, right? So in this case, in the print, I'm going to print this line, the comments. I'm going to start explaining what I'm trying to do. The next one is set channel 18 to out mode. Okay, so that's going to be a pin access. So set channel right there. And then you should be able to type 18, and it's going to be out mode, right? Actually, this one needs to go below. So something like this. Okay. And then the idea there is you're just going to construct this, right? As you go through, you'll have to discover all the different pieces of this puzzle. It's pretty long, so it'll probably take a little while. And once you have the program that matches the instructions, you're simply going to hit play, and it will end, right? So at this point you've got your breadboard connected, and you've got your Raspberry Pi connected. At some point they should have had you connect the breadboard to the Raspberry Pi using the cables. So you've got your Raspberry Pi with LEDs, you've got your breadboard with the potentiometer, you've connected them with the USB, right? You've updated the firmware if that's needed, and then you've come down here into this last block of stuff, and you've actually built out this program that they want you to build here, right? So you're going to build out all these pieces, get it all correct, and then once it's all correct, you're going to hit run, and that will run the program. And then there's some charts and other things that you can do, right? They're going to add some other pieces to create some charts based on that, and you're going to start collecting the data. Okay. So in a nutshell, and not I guess obviously not highly detailed, but in order to run this, right, you're going to actually use the blocks that are available in the lab itself. You're not going to click on Blockly up here and try to run and create a new Blockly program. It really needs you to use the program that they've already built into the actual in the actual lab. Okay, so go back over here. So to run this lab, you're going to actually open your launcher. You're going to select on course materials, connecting things, open the lab, which will give you this, and you're just going to follow through down the page to get everything done. All right. When you're done, you should be able to have a video, just show a video of you turning this potentiometer, and it affects the lights on this particular Raspberry. Okay, that's the expectation. All right, if you have any other questions, please let me know. Please email me, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. And now I've got to figure out how to end